Hi Tara, it's James Tapankoff here from Tapankoff Digital Learning Services. How are you? I just thought I would make a quick little video for you in regards to some of the ideas that you threw at me in emails a few weeks back about what you were hoping to possibly see about creating something for people who go into classrooms with your EPCOR content and use the smart boards that they have available in there to have some interactive stuff. And you'd also talked about the idea of not necessarily building a bunch of stuff for you, but using this as kind of way to, as uses a front end for all those things. So along those lines, here's just a concept of a really rough idea, and I pulled in some logos and signage and things like that. And just to give you an idea of what I could do, and this is kind of a bare bones kind of idea without me really doing a lot of in-depth development for you, which is kind of, I think, what you were implying when we've talked, that you've already got the content, you're working on it, you just want to be able to use it on the smart boards in a fairly intuitive and kind of a centralized way so that everything can be available. So part of what I've got here, and it doesn't have to necessarily look like this, but I'm thinking in simplicity, is basically doing exactly that, creating a page or two, which is not very detailed, but would have everything that you would want in relation to having all of those resources available to somebody on a smart board. In this case, the program you're looking at is called Smart Notebook, and this is the program that the computers attached to the smart boards in schools will be running, and that's what the teachers will be using as part of their instruction with students. So with this file, and it works like any other file, it could be put onto a thumb drive and pulled by somebody to whatever school they go to and plugged into that machine, and this could be brought up in their version of Smart Notebook, or you could bring your own laptop and do that too. What you're looking at here is basically a very simple design which incorporates a few different things that would work with what you kind of would like to see in here. So with this, what we've talked about is incorporating a quick place to have the link for the eSmart Kids. So this image is actually a link to a website that when you click it, it will actually take you to the eSmart Kids website and give you all of the resources that are there available very quickly. If desired, you could have, I could break this up into different links for different parts of the eSmart Kids website, so that each of these, for example, if you wanted the electrical section here to come up quickly, I would put a link here for the electrical setup, and that could be clicked, and that will take whoever clicks it to this particular part of the eSmart Kids website. So that is something that can be done in here quite easily. And we'd also talked about the idea of you have some other resources that you have in different formats. For example, PDF, you probably have some PowerPoint and things like that. One of the neat functions that Smart Notebook lets you do, Tara, is if you click on this tab here on the left-hand side, you'll see down here where the paperclip is, you are actually able to attach other documents and kind of archive them together in one spot to follow this notebook file around. And what it does is basically functions like an attachment on an email. It brings all these files with it so that if for some reason somebody needs to refer to them on a smart board, you can double click it and it will pull it up if you have that program. So this one in particular is the PDF that you're developing for Water in Your World. So if you double click that, that file is available, and that person at the smart board can pull that up and have a look at it. And because of the way the smart board works and is interactive, you are able to write on it and to capture the writing that you do as a part of that and actually bring that writing into this file as an example of what you were pointing out in that PDF file. It would work for Word, it would work for actually any file that you have available. You can actually incorporate copies of videos that you have individually in this list as well. It doesn't really care what the file is. All that matters is that you have the program to play it at the time. So if it's a video, the computer has to have a video player. If it's a Word file, it has to have Word, and so on and so forth. You had also mentioned that one of the reasons that you weren't wanting to so-called reinvent the wheel is that you saw on the Smart Exchange that there were activities that were already there that you could use and that would fit quite well with what this particular topic covers. One of the things I can't do with a setup like this is I can't embed those particular files with it. However, I can make it pretty simple to create an account for EPCOR, because basically I think you already did this. The Smart Exchange requires you to create an account to access and download the actual files off of the Exchange. However, it really doesn't matter who does that. EPCOR, I think, could create its own account for whoever goes into these situations. And what I can do is, under this list for Smart Exchange, and I can make it look a little nicer, obviously. I'll move this over here right now. You can see I'm in a bit of a design mode right now. I can provide links to those activities on the Smart Exchange, which means obviously you'd have to have web access. Or we can look at another way of actually, no, we can't do that. I can't make copies of that. Because it's not a free resource, so to speak. I'm developing this for pay. It's something that I can't incorporate into the design, unfortunately. So we'll just have to find a way around that and give a link to go out to it, although we don't actually specifically incorporate it. Or we can set it up so it's just a link to the Smart Exchange and it takes you out there. And we just provide the keywords that take us to those particular files that are there. We can talk about that. I just don't want to create an issue with copyright elements. The Exchange is meant to be free no matter who uses it. So I want to be careful with that one. Along those lines, Tara, if you're just looking at something like that, if you want me to build something that incorporates whatever documents you've got here and that exist in different formats, whether they be PowerPoint or whatever it may be, that would be just fine. I think in terms of a charge, because it's not a huge task for me to do this, it has to be some coordination, I'd have to do some design, but I don't think it would take me a heck of a lot of time. I wouldn't spend weeks on this, obviously. It'd be a couple days just working on different things, pulling in resources, making sure everything fits. I think I could do this for you for, let's see, I'm just writing some things down here. I would look at building that for you as a basic template. I would say for $549 plus GST. That's basically a time figure. And if you wanted to go more complicated than that and take a look at actually building some resources for this, I am definitely capable of pulling in existing resources that are out there and revamping them to work in the notebook format. And I'm just going to pull something up for you here. I did some work for the AMA School Safety Patrol recently, and I'm just going to show you really quickly an example of what I've done for them. I took some of their activities that they pull into classrooms as well, and theirs were based in PowerPoint. And just to give you a sample of what I did, here's a quick look at a couple of slides of the PowerPoint. I'm not giving you the file, obviously. I'm just going to show you a little bit of work here. But what I did is I took their static slides that they had here, and I did a revamp of what they had, as opposed to being just straight slides and info, so to speak. I took that and I redeveloped it into a Smart Notebook file that took the content, reworked it for the format that Notebook uses, and also made it a lot more appealing and also interactive, where you could actually work with some of the content as opposed to just seeing it. So when this comes up here, you'll get an idea of where I took that content for the AMA School Safety Patrol. And I'm just going to make this full screen so that we can see it a bit better. And I got it, I'll change that a bit. Now we've got this basically segmented into different categories, and the activities integrate things that work well on Smartboard. So this is a space for the presenter to actually write down some of the feedback for the students that are there. These are simple images, which is not much different. But then you have elements like this, where there's actual simple Q&A that they can use that is actually interactive. So for this one, I believe it's 1937, and that one is correct. And this one's just a little bit big for the screen. But the idea is that as we go through this, and the traffic light up here always takes us back to the beginning. So if I click that, I can switch to another section that we have here. And for elements like this, there's stuff like that where at the board, if you click it, you can actually reveal some of the answers that you have. So you can contain some of that for the discussion. You can have some discussion about it and then reveal the answer at that point. Same idea here. There's elements of animation that we can bring into this that works well in Notebook. And it's just another element of interactivity and just kind of pointing out finely specific content that you're focusing on at the moment. So this is basically a portable highlighter that you can use for this particular segment right here. And that's the kind of thing that I did for them, to take their existing content that they had. And some of it was PDF based, so I pulled it out of there as well, and let them take this, and now they can go to any school with a smart board with smart notebook and have, instead of just a piece of content that they can see, it's something they can actually get their hands on and play with and actually pull in some feedback and do some testing of knowledge and things like that. So I thought I'd just show that to you to give you an idea. But that basic idea here of just doing the front page, putting together whatever resources you've got, so not me developing anything for you, just things that you already have existing that you'd like links to. I can put them here. I can have this page with specific links for each of those, so that when you click it, that will open up. Same idea with the Smart Exchange. If you identify the files that you'd like me to contain there, I will put them in that list there. If you want me to develop things, take some of the stuff that you've done and rework it into Notebook, that's a different story in terms of pricing. The $549 would be basically for this front page to coordinate all of the activities and resources that you already have. So that's kind of just an overview right there of what this could look like. So this approach that I'm proposing is very simple, pretty cost effective. It doesn't cost you a lot. What I could also do is, if you wish, I can also quote you for what I would call a training session for the group, or for you, or for a group of people, and you, if you wish, to actually show you the idea of what Notebook does on a smartboard and how you would use this type of resource and other things that you could know, because then you could take that moving forwards and actually add on this and build it on your own. So what I would do is I would quote you for that. It would actually be an additional, I would quote you, it would come basically just about, let's say $9.95. So I would quote you $9.95 for this development, and also I would say about a 2.5 hour training session to, plus that would be plus GST, of course, $9.95 plus GST. 2.5, 3 hour session where I would come in, sit down with you and whoever else you thought would need to be a part of this, give an overview of how the smartboard and this Notebook program works, and I think that would be able to take you and whoever else you have to the next level, and you would be able to start working with this and maybe develop your own stuff, because in the end that might be the most cost-effective approach that you may have. So I'm going to send this to you right away and give it to you in a Notebook file, and we are going to have a look. Let me know what you think, and give me some feedback via email or telephone if you like. If I'll just make a new page for you here. And again, you know where to find me, but here is my email there. And if you'd like to call me, you can call me at 886-8258. Let's get that right. And by the way, the tool I'm using to record this is something that you get with the Smart Notebook software if you have a smartboard. Very handy little tool to have, because you can make your own videos of stuff that you do. Tara, thanks very much for the opportunity. Let me know what you think. Take care and have a great day.